newspapers. And then there were others who really believed in a federal system with states. And what the question is how opinion within these divisions shifted over time because of political circumstances, and that's what the book traces. And I think unless you look at these divisions of opinion and changing circumstances, ratification of the Constitution is impossible to explain. One other issue that I think is significant, what this makes clear is that the big issue had to do with amendments. But we're often told that the Anti-Federalists are responsible for the Bill of Rights, whereas the Federalists gave us the Constitution. Well, since I don't like those categories, you can guess I don't like that dichotomy either. Moreover, the amendments that most critics of the Constitution wanted and that state conventions demanded were not what we expect they would be. Not the only of 5 states that ratified and proposed amendments to the Constitution, only one, Virginia, asked formally that a Bill of Rights be added to the document. The rights in their heads are not necessarily the rights in our heads. At the top of their list was what? The central rights issue of the American Revolution, which was no taxation without representation. They said the provisions on representation are inadequate. There shall be no more than one delegate for every 30,000 people. Why didn't it say there shall be one delegate for every 30,000? That makes sense to me. It sounds like a good idea to change that. Other things they didn't like with regard to representation, they said the rights of the people to a full and free representation were inadequately protected. And connected with that, the wall-to-wall taxing power given Congress in Article 1, Section 8 was outrageous. And for direct taxes people couldn't get around with, like real estate taxes or poll taxes, they said if Congress were to grant those, the state legislature should be allowed to raise their part of the general levy in any way they wanted to prevent the feds from coming in to collect it. Now, this may not sound like a big deal to you. To them, it was a big deal. Why? Because they said the people were represented more fully in their state legislatures. Look, in Massachusetts, there were, 400 delegates in the state convention. If all the towns had sent the number they were entitled to send, there would only be 65 men for the entire country in the first federal Congress. You get to see what they were talking about. And this was very important to them. We ended up getting, actually, to make this long story short, basically Madison proposed the amendments to the Constitution, the first federal Congress, largely to circumvent the one amendment that he and General Washington, now President Washington, found most offensive. Indeed, Washington said the only one of the proposed amendments he couldn't live with, and that was the one which would have limited congressional taxing powers.